family that's trying to deal with everything they have to deal with, if they had a kind of a letter that explains what they need to do in a very friendly manner, and then drop it.
Well, then look at
or that's a question, not a statement, but would it be?
To basically just set as a notification that doesn't have, that's not tied to enforcement, basically.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, I would agree with that.
Right.
I would agree with that. Chief?
From the public safety standpoint, sometimes these are the only mechanisms we utilize, water bills. Looking at it from the A plus citizens point of view, your point, I understand exactly where you're coming from, but if you go C down to F citizen, what you end up with is people that are living in the house, maybe they're grown, they've been living with their parents, somebody dies, the water bill stays, now there's not this regulator there. We've got firemen and police that are going into places with exposed wires, the house isn't being kept up. When we start researching, we find out the person the utilities has been dead for 3 years, and it just becomes a nightmare for us trying to deal with these really dilapidated houses that maybe the mechanism is the patriarch or matriarch has passed away, and the group of people, the cousin gets cleaned out of there. And that's just from a public safety standpoint.
Well, also, and I said it then, I'll say it again, I think it's important that we have a responsible living person that's on that account. One, for that reason, but two, that if there's a problem with the account, Corey said it the other night when they were talking about trying to go after them for the taxes and the past due water accounts, what the whole realm of things that they go after. Now they got to search and find out who's in charge of that property now.
Right, but they do that in their line of business all the time.
The water department called us and said somebody jumped the meter. We pulled the account and it's Joe Blow on there, and then you start researching, well, Joe Blow's dead. He's been dead for years. Now you got to go out there and try to identify who's actually in that house. I think it's important to have whoever the responsible person is that's going to take care of that bill, have them on the account. They're the ones that educate them that says, if it's a husband, wife, or a family member, whoever, sometimes you've got a child living with a husband or dad or mom that's taking care of the bills. And if she wants to come in and make changes to that bill, if her name's not on that account, she can't do anything to that account.
That should be just an easy fix. The way it was written, that I read in the packet, if you live there, you should just be able to come in and say, hey.
But that's not what happens. But we've had, and I said it before, we had people here in the city that got mad at their neighbors before we put something in there. And they called up and said, we're moving, cut the water off, cut the utilities off. People are gone on vacation, come home, all the food in the freezer and the refrigerator and stuff was ruined because at that time they could cut the water off, the gas off, the electricity off, with a simple phone call.
Well, and I think that's a different.
And there's a reason you can't.
Well, and that's a different part of this, and I agree with that, absolutely. And actually, that then gets into the second part here, which is, the issue with whether staff is supposed to be asking for a will or not. Now, I don't think asking for a will. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that can be in a will, quite frankly, none of our business. But you can ask for things like an affidavit of heirship. You can ask for different things that are legal documents.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. We need to. I don't think anybody should just be able to come up and say, "Hey, this person died. I can prove I'm related to them, so I have a right to be on the utility account." They need to have proof that they actually have the authority of the state or somebody to do that. Power of attorney. There you go. So to me, I agree 100% that staff needs to be able to have something for proof on that.
I agree.
I have a question for somebody. When I turn the water on, some properties I've dealt with, I have to bring in proof of ownership. I have to show that I own the house. What do they do when they're renters?
That is not in there. I told them last week, they don't need to be enforcing something that's not in there.
They're telling me I have to show,
No.
I have to bring closing documents to show that I own that house. just dawned on me, what if I'm renting it?
There's nothing in there that says you have to provide that. That's-
Really? Because
So Marvin,
they
That's
require that
taken
for
care
years.
of.
related to that question, these comments in red, who are those from? Are those your comments?
Yeah.
So this is, your staff gave you these policies and then you're reflecting on it?
Right.
Okay. I needed clarity because part of what you just said was in here and it wasn't clear to me, you were saying that. But I think, so currently, I don't give a recommendation for us on this, but under your recommendation, when would the letter go out? Does it go out as soon as the city knows something's happened, or is it a delayed effect?
No, it's 90 days after their death.
So,
But what Steve is saying, I think, is if you find out, and it's probably been a week, because I know, and I don't care for this, I'm just gonna say that. I don't care for people scouring obits for chances to send out stuff. And on the whole, I think we have good staff. I think that's great, but I don't agree with the idea of, hey, I saw somebody in an obit, I'm gonna go after them. Anyway, that's fine, that's my problem.
They should have more.
So at the point that they become aware of that,
when does the letter go out?
is there a delay between staff sending it out, or does that letter, under your suggestion, go
The way it's
out?
written now, it's from the date of death, but what we do, we send a letter out the minute we know, and that's when we start the time.
So that's, I think, to Joe's point, I think that's something we could work on, when the letter would go out. Because I think immediately, to me, immediately is not the right answer. There needs to be a buffer before the letter is sent, and then so in doing so, well, just on that, for my suggestion, I think 90 days to resolve everything is a good time frame. It's better than 45. But I would take and say to delay the letter going out for, say, 30 days and then give them 60 or something, so that they're not getting hit with this when it's so fresh in their mind. And we can debate that. But the point is, a letter goes out under Marvin's recommendation, a letter would go out at some point, and then it would specify another date at which things need to be cleaned up.
Yeah,
So-
I don't know if y'all got a chance to remember this revised letter that's in the packet.
Yeah. And I think it could be still tweaked some to make it softer in
Sure.
places.
I think
But-
that's the big complaint, a lot of people, I mean, the
Right.
two complaints that I've seen online on social media is about the language that's being used when you send out this.
Right, and there were some missteps with the will and all that kind of stuff.
And
Well,
then back on.
I straightened the wheel part out.
Right. I know, those
Yeah.
things happen, unfortunately.
There is another avenue, not another avenue, but another point that this triggers, is once the person comes in, they're not expecting that they're gonna have to get a CO.
Right, but that's what we need to try to get some
Yeah.
agreement on, I think. So
Or put up another deposit if there's not a deposit on it.
right, there's two things.
I have a question. Sorry, well, you paused for a second.
Not a suggestion. I have a neighbor who's in a terrific car accident. I'm just making this up. And as being a good neighbor, I want to physically help him all I can. May take a year for him to heal. But I cannot come pay his water bill because of the way the situation is set up. Isn't that correct?
No, you can pay.
You can't make changes on the account.
Yeah, you can't
You just
cancel
can't
or add
make
anybody.
changes on it. You can
City's
come
pretty
pay.
good about taking I was gonna say, I'll let anybody come pay my bill for doing it. Let's do that. Not have to get a permit.
Okay, so I would look at this big picture first, okay? I think that there's two main issues and then some more minor issues below that. One is the name of the account. Does the name of the account need to change at some point from a deceased person to someone that's living?
I think it does.
Yes. I think it does.
Yes.
Agree with that.
I would agree that it should. I don't think we need to be enforcing it on that end. But yes, no, I agree.
Okay, so that's
Theoretically, every single account should be